Two of our colleagues, Arredondo and Meg Farris, that are joining us in studio to share stories about our beloved Eric. We were just joking about all of the fun that we used to have with Eric, and how I met Eric when he was yelling at me as a prompter operator when I was a desk assistant. So to stand beside him and to really work with him was a dream that I never thought would come true.
But you still loved him.
Yeah,
that was the thing. Eric could tell you were wrong. He could put you down, whatever. But you still, Eric got away with everything. We always used to say he probably knew where the skeletons were buried.
Yeah.
But tell the story about being bald. This is one of my favorites.
On Monday the 14th, Eric texted me a picture and told me that his hair finally all fell out and that he was more handsome bald than I was. So we made arrangements to try and get together, take a picture of both of us together on Wednesday the 16th, and unfortunately Bethany texted me and said that he's going back to the hospital and it didn't look good for today. So we never got a chance to, but I did post that picture of Eric with this shaved head. And you know, Eric's always said that, you know, he may always not be right, but he's never wrong. Well, Eric was right. He did look better bald than I did. Yes.
That was one of the last things I said to him, Carl. I grabbed his hand, I was rubbing his arm, and I said, Eric, all those decades, you told me I was wrong and you were right. I said, I finally get to tell you that I was right and you were wrong, and you can't talk back to me.
Goodness.
Because he had been, he was sedated. But we would, all day long, all of us, people from Channel 4, from the way past, immediate past, and all the co-workers now, we all have been crying, but we all have been laughing, telling Eric stories, because as everyone knew, he was fluent in sarcasm.
Yes.
Very fluent in sarcasm.
Very.
And nothing made me happier than to, than to get into it with Eric.
And Eric and I, we jabbed at each other back and
all
forth.
The time.
He would always make blind jokes about me, and I would make old people jokes about him.
Yeah.
And it was great. He called me 2 Saturdays ago telling me that his nurse had said that she thought I was older than Eric. And so I immediately said back to Eric, oh, so you have a visually impaired nurse? And he just laughed, no, she's telling the truth. And I said, no, you look much older than I do. I told him
the first thing I said that when I saw that we announced his age, I said, oh, I think that's the first time we ever said it publicly, because you could not talk about Eric's age out loud.
43 and a half years. I had no clue how old he was. I mean, it was the best kept secret in the city of New Orleans. And Eric did not tell his age. Now, all of us who grew up in New Orleans, we can't lie about age because we all went to different schools together, right? But Eric did, and I just found out how old he was.
Yeah, all of us
but he
are
was
just
so
finding
young
out.
at heart.
Yes, he
was Peter Pan. He acted young and lived like a young person.
And I told him that he was so old that he covered Moses coming down from the mountain with the tablets, and he laughed and said, but I had the exclusive, so that's
But you know what? Eric was probably having more fun than most young people had.
Was.
And so you never,
I looked at a picture that he posted, and then someone else posted during this previous Jazz Fest, and I said, Eric is on stage with Manny Fresh and Juvenile. What is he doing? And he said, when did they become friends? And it's like, everyone loved this guy.
Everyone. Dolly Parton. I mean, she wrote him this note after he did the interview with her, but Eric was truly one of a kind. And although, I have all these jokes about Eric and how Eric would, was yelling at you and all this. But Eric really had a heart deep down. And till the very end, he was joking. And when I found out he had cancer, I called him, and the first thing I said was, Eric, I said, I thought you were just taking more vacation, because he got more vacation than...
Well, I mean, when you've worked somewhere 40 plus years, it's kind of like a endless, indefinite vacation all the time.
And when you mentioned the hard part, I mean, in the past 3 to 4 years, Eric and I have had conversations, and this is what I'm going to cherish the most about me and Eric, is that we both talked about how we found the love of our lives late in life. And he was so very happy with Bethany and Emmett, and he was proud of his son, John. He told me about that all the time. But we talked about that and how we couldn't mess this up. And for Eric, he didn't mess it up. Unfortunately, cancer messed it up for him. But he was very much in love with Bethany, and I just love that about him, that we can talk openly about
Absolutely.
And, honestly, all of our love really to Bethany, and I know that it's difficult not just for the community, but for Eric's family and for his children. And I think over the next couple of months, I won't even just say days, people will start to share that love and spread that love. And Tom, one of our former colleagues, Tom posted that this will be a second line like you've never seen before.
Absolutely. Let me tell you, I was in the grocery store today, and people were coming up and hugging me and saying, "I love Derek. I love Derek. I'm thinking about all of y'all." But you know, when I called him, I said, "Eric, how are you doing?" He goes, "I'm okay." I said, "I know physically you're getting treatment."
Right.
I said, "I want to know emotionally how you are," because Eric didn't get in deep into that.
It wasn't warm and fuzzy. No.
That wasn't
and he
that person.
said, "I am fine." He said, "But I'm worried about Bethany. I'm worried about how she's going to be emotionally." And you usually didn't see that side of Eric, because Eric was about Eric.
Yeah. Yes.
But deep down inside, he wasn't. Deep down, he really, you know.
All right. Well, we will continue to share stories about Eric.